As we walk down this lonely basement, you will notice something more peculiar than any of my other videos. The souls of my enemies are contained within this basement. Yes, you now know my secret, and it is your mistake for coming down here, clicking on the video and watching this. But if you must insist on seeing the souls of my enemies, where there was a small disagreement, a possible dare gone wrong, all of the souls are kept beneath this rug. No. Just kidding, guys. Nightwolf88 here. What's up, guys? I just wanted to make a small video for you guys about how my basement is basically an old cemetery for, like, yesterday's electronics. Why do I say that? Well, for starters, this is probably the same TV that my dad grew up with. I mean, look at this thing. It sits on the floor. It's got that really nice wood grain, on it. You can't get that on, like, any electronic like they used to. No flat screens come in that way. This thing still works. I sometimes play some VHS tapes on it. Barely ever. Got my little collection up here, though. A little Jim Carrey comedy up here. The only reason we still keep this is because, well, besides the fact that we have like 12 flat screens upstairs, which is kind of sad, being that we still keep this. But for one thing, it's really retro, really classic. Well, that, and also, when my cousins come down here, they like to check it out, and sometimes we even watch some movies down here, have that VCR hooked up, play some classic Nintendo like it's 1985 or something. Yeah, this thing's really bulky, really crappy quality, but it still functions. This thing has no remote. That little microwave keypad is how you change the channels. Yeah. Well, going on to my little drill system got right there. This is the first computer that was ever in our house. And there is someone on the phone, which I am not going to get. Anyway. Okay, anyway, I think someone upstairs is probably gonna get out. I'll wait a few seconds. Okay, they got it. Anyway, this computer was made back in like 83 or something like that, according to the sticker on the back. My dad bought this back when he was in college, brand new. This was basically the MacBook Pro of his time. That little floppy disk drive, we actually used to play a bunch of computer games back in the day. My cousins and I, we'd always be playing on like floppy disk, we had a Terminator game that we'd always play, Kids today, they won't understand that. Like, PC gaming, they'll understand that. Floppy disk and CD-ROM, heck no, they ain't gonna understand that these days. This thing has no mouse. It was one of those computers where keyboard did everything. Last time this was turned on was probably like 2006, 2007. It's barely functional, but does turn on. Okay, coming up here, got an old 8-track stereo. And sorry if I'm like just rambling on all of this, guys, but my battery's about to die. I'm trying to cut this video pretty short. I hope you guys don't mind, but this is an old 8-track stereo. For those of you that remember when 8-tracks were the king of the 70s, these things didn't really make it out of the 70s too well, Everyone was going to CDs, cassettes, and who could blame them? I mean, look at this thing. We don't really have any 8-tracks anymore. But look at this thing, you can just tell how big those tapes were. And think of some of these things, there are actually cars of the 60s and 70s that have these things in the stereo, like how people have like CDs, CD players, cassette players. think of how bulky that could. This thing's like a bar of soap. You're just putting into your stereo, you know. Anyway, off of that, got an old DVD player. The reason we have it down here, I know it's not an antique electronic, and I have a story behind that. We replaced it with a Blu-ray player. End of story. Well, that, and also, I sometimes connect it to that old TV. When my cousins are down here, we watch some DVDs, because it actually connects like that. Got an old record player. That thing needs a needle, like literally. Don't mean for that little, sorry for the alliteration down there. CD storage, if we had any CDs. Tractor feed printer, which those of you that remember, tractor feed had those little notches. Why did they have those little notches? I'll just show you. We actually still have some tractor feed paper. We never use it, but we still got it. Those little notches are to get onto a gear and pulley system for these little holes. And as you can see, it's like an endless supply of folded paper. And it would pull it through with those little notches as it was being printed. Next, now this isn't an electronic, but it's still an antique. This was actually an oven that my grandparents owned like years ago. The reason we keep it is because years ago, and I do mean like decades ago, I probably wasn't even born when this happened, but we had an ice storm in Mississippi, and the power was knocked out, everything was knocked out, man. Like, those of you that know, Mississippi is hot as heck now. We're probably not going to ever have an ice storm again, but you know, it's good to take precautions. Plus, this thing is really old. It's really bulky to move. Next, got an old dishwasher, doesn't work. Old spare, that refrigerator is just a spare, we got that. Last of all, little cassette player. My dad sometimes comes down here and listens to cassettes while he's working. I got a little office set up over there. As you guys can, if you guys remember back when people used to like record stuff with a microphone off the radio. Once again, more wood grain. Can't get that on any electronics today. That's that back in the day quality. And yeah, just about does it. Got this old couch down here too. I know that's not an electronic, but this is one of those couches that turns into a bed. Sometimes if we have like too many people, like it's Christmas time, Thanksgiving, too many people taking up the bedroom upstairs, we pull the mattress out, you know, of this couch, and we let them sleep down there along with that bed that's over there. Anyway, that just about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, links in the description below. I sort of stuttered right there. If you like content on my channel, please subscribe. And Nightwolf88, out of here.